Welcome, everybody, to our second session for the ACP-420. We got Bob, we got Rodney. Hit that subscribe button as we just crossed over 2,000 subscribers and we're well on our way to 5,000. And so, yeah, if you're watching this and you haven't hit that subscribe button, that would be a great time to hit that subscribe button.
Is that the next milestone?
I think so.
Do we get a little thing from like YouTube? I mean, you know, all the gold plaques and the.
I think our first plaque is like at 100K. So
yeah, we're 98,000 away. We got a while to go, Bob. Don't worry. Isaac wakes up every morning asking me, "Did we get there yet?" And I'm like, "No, not yet."
Hey there, Susan.
Susan, hello.
Hey,
Howdy
Susan.
from New Mexico.
So, yeah. Go ahead.
Nope, just we're well on our way to 5,000, and we're well on our way to actually start studying for this 420. So, in case you missed it, Monday we covered like the basics. We gave you our many years of taking Atlassian certified professional tests, and we gave you a lot of insights and observations into how to succeed and how to do well with the test. And now we're actually going to get into some of the material, and so begins a 16 episode journey. 15 more to go. 14 more to go.
14
Take it away, Rodney. Bob, your job is to make sure we stay focused and on track so we can actually finish this in 16 weeks instead of 26 weeks.
And that is something that I will, that's a job that I will take with gusto.
I want to take it with gusto.
People like I can on the Jira
Life. my job is to make Bob's hair completely white.
You've already do a great job of that. Anyways. So, first lesson, we're talking about distinguishing among users, project roles, and permissions.
If you're following along on the blueprint, this is 101.01.
Yep. So, this lesson contains exam hints about defining users, project roles, permissions, managing customers, organizations, and team members. The topics maintained in this lesson are 16% of the exam. You'll also test yourself by doing sample questions, which will give you hands-on experience and prepare you for various kinds of questions on the exam. So, bit of a side note, we've done a few of these now. The questions may or may not be representative of what we find on the exam. They're still good practice, but don't take them as gospel, as this is what you will see on the exam.
How in the world did we end up here?
How?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Can we drop a link?
I'm going to kind of move.
No, can we drop, but for people following along, can we drop a link to this training?
Yeah.
Thank you. Just in case, because I'm on the wrong one. So I want to make sure we're floating on the right one.
I clicked them in order, so I
thought
I did too, but apparently I didn't do a good job of that.
So to just to kind of explain, what we're actually looking at now is what they call resources. It's not necessarily a full-blown course like it was in the past. These are really brief blurbs. They're assuming that you are familiar with these and just need kind of a basic refresher and want to see what a question or two in that area would look like. So
I mean, for a brief refresher, we're looking at about 2 hours worth on just this one. So
well, this brief refresher is like 2 hours for the entire thing.
They included 3 others that all total about 16 hours, Bob.
Okay. Well, right.
There's a lot. Yeah, this is why I was in the wrong one. I clicked on the very first one on the list. Apparently, you went down a section. So disregard the title of this video and thumbnail as Rodney went a whole different way. Proceed.
All right. Hey, I'm following the guide, so define users, project roles, permissions. So these are kind of our goals for this section. Recognize that customer permissions determine whether or not customers can share requests with other customers. a request participant from outside their org or only with others within their org. Be familiar with the stakeholder product roles and how it provides visibility to incidents. Know that users and admins have different capabilities with regards to queues. Now, that's not enough to be in a service desk team member role to be able to serve as an agent and view agent-specific features such as queues and SLAs. A JSM product license is required. That is to say, you have to be an agent, not just a service desk team member. Customers can perform a number of tasks, such as adding comments and attachments. Sorry, I see comments coming up. But only if they are included in the project's permission schemes through the Service Project Customer Portal access role. Manage customers and organizations. Know that channel access can be restricted to only people directly invited to the project or set to open. When open, customers can share requests with anyone via email if the customer sharing is also configured accordingly. Be aware that users' access to service projects may depend on an organization that they're a member of, unless they also have service desk customer project role. Customers can always share requests with other users, with others from their org, but customer sharing can only be configured to allow sharing with emails manually entered and others within the same project. Know that when a new customer without pre-existing count is added, notification is sent to that email.
All right. So what Rodney had just read off is actually covered in the exam topics under section 01.02. And now what Rodney's going to look at as far as the third one, managing team members, that's going to be covered under 01.03.
And please tell me, Bob, as I'm reading these, you are checking these off.
Yep, I certainly am.
Good, because I will not remember by tomorrow.
Yeah. But do we want to go into detail into some of these? Because there's a lot of English here, but the devil's in the details.
Yeah.
And especially
we should really kind of go through and kind of explain in a deeper thing. Otherwise, this series, as we jump from one of these guides to the other one, we're probably going to be rehashing material. Like we'll probably be doing this 4 times through.
But it almost, I laugh, but you kind of do need to go through it a few times because this is not, I do this every day and I still get confused, let alone when you're under the pressure of a test.
Yeah.
So we should, first question off the very first item, who can create a JSM project? There's team and company managed JSM projects. So you got to be at least a Jira administrator to create those company managed projects, but can anybody create a team managed JSM project?
I think it depends how the admin has the project creation configured.
Well, assuming that team manage is open to all, like it is out of the box, you would think anybody should be able to create team managed JSM projects, right?
Unless their admin is Alex Ortiz and they've turned that feature off.
Right. So creating so a Jira admin could turn on or off team managed projects. I already know what setting Alex has it at. But understand that since it's a global permission, and this is way above the scope of this exam, but since it's a global permission, if you do enable team managed projects, it is allowable at the group level. So,
yeah. Now, coming down to recognizing the customer permissions, determine whether or not customers can share requests with their customers. You should know that there is a customer license and there is a customer role, which is really, it says portal access, and those kind of go hand in hand.
Right.
But the license is the most critical part. If you don't have the license, then you're kind of dead on arrival.
And one thing that we should discuss on this sentence, when it says organization, we're not talking about a cloud organization. There is actually within JSM, within the customer frame, what's called organizations. Basically, if you Yeah, Atlassian likes to overload. And I'm using an object-oriented reference here. They like to overload the references. And when we look at JSM, and in this exam in particular, when I say the word organization, think grouping of customer accounts. So you may want to group together customer accounts. Maybe they all belong to the same client company. And that's how you would make sure that if you were setting up a JSM instance, that only so if you had a requirement where customers from the same company could only view the requests generated, you would by that company, you would start setting up organizations. But as you'll see later on, organizations have a few other special things, such as a few special fields that can appear in your request types or work item types.
Yep. I like what you said. I think the organization, it's a good way to think of it, just like a grouping.
Yeah.
A grouping of customers. All right, the stakeholders. This is a tricky one. So to be a stakeholder, it's another license. So there's a product role, and that whenever you see product role, I like to think license. So there's a customer product role, a stakeholder product role, and then you'll have an agent, aka user product role. And so the stakeholder is a license. It's a free license, but it's a license that you would give to your Jira users. So your paid Jira licensed users. And the reason you would want to do this is because sometimes there's interactions between JSM and Jira, and this allows a Jira user, your development team, to come into your JSM and do minor things like comment and just follow along and be able to read the request that came in through JSM without consuming a very expensive JSM license.
So, question here: the way that I used to do it, at present, I don't work too much with JSM, but the way that I used to do it was that anybody that I saw as a stakeholder, I had to give them a regular Jira license so that they could do things like add comments, add attachments, things that are not JSM specific. And we're going to talk about that later on. If you have an agent license, you can do these things. But if you have a regular Jira license, and this is where I'm thinking that the stakeholder product role is, if you have a regular, whether or not it has a stakeholder license associated with it, or if we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, which is just with a regular Jira license, you can do these things like add comments, add links,
add internal comments, by the way.
Yeah, that's the point I was about to make is when you're a regular Jira user or a stakeholder, you're not adding comments that the customer could see. You're adding internal comments for your agents or for other members of your team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I do agree. I have not tested the Jira part thoroughly, but I would agree that, I think it'd be silly for Atlassian to just give out free licenses like this. So I think you do need to have a paid Jira license, and then you get a free stakeholder license added on top of you. But I'll take it one step further. You also need to have the right permission in your permission scheme, and that is you need to be a team member, because if you don't have that, then you don't even see the JSM project, or you can't do anything with the JSM ticket either. Mm-hmm. So because I've given people the stakeholder license and they can't see the project. So they need to have browse, and so you either make a new group or a new role, or I just add them to the team one. But it's up to you on how you want to complete it.
Adding in the team one is definitely the cheap and easy way out. I prefer just to fix my permission scheme so that the stakeholder role has what they need.
My logic was, if you give them the team role within the permission scheme, their stakeholder license is going to govern the limitations of what they can do. So they won't be able to do anything outside of what Atlassian doesn't allow stakeholders to do. So I don't have to worry about fine-tuning the permission scheme, but that's the lazy answer.
As I said.
All right, so that's a stake. Okay, stakeholders is new too. It's like a year old, and it's a mystery. And Atlassian's documentation is not the best on it. So just know
No.
that one exists.
Right. Know
Can
that
you?
users and admins have different capabilities with regards to queues. Now, when they say admins here, we need to be specific. We're talking about
Project.
project admins. Jira admins have the same capabilities, but unless we really have a need to, Jira admins don't like to mess with individual projects on this kind of level.
Yeah. And usually that's just reordering the queues, making new queues, modifying the queues, modifying the criteria for the queues, and modifying the fields that show up for the queues or the columns.
Right.
This next one's important.
Mm-hmm.
So just having the permission, piggybacking off the stakeholder one, just having the permission in JSM is not going to be enough. You do need to have an agent license to be able to do things like use JSM.
Mm-hmm.
And then the customer one is you will need to everybody, again, it's not enough to just have a customer license. Depending on how you configure your JSM project, most of the time you're also going to need this service project customer dash project role to be able to, add comments and things of that nature.
To the service desk team member and having that agent license, this is very much a got you. Because especially when you're a new admin on JSM and you have Jira experience and you're like, okay, I'll just add them to the, they already have a Jira license. They should be good to go. I'll just add them to the team member. They should be able to do everything they need to on this project. You need to stop. You need to go back to your product permissions and make sure that they are assigned an agent license.
Very important.
Yeah. And that may be on top of their regular Jira license if they're also accessing Jira or Jira projects within the instance.
Yeah. And then the other place where I think I get confused a lot too is an individual technically can have all of them. Like you can give somebody a customer and an agent license and even a stakeholder one. So make sure, luckily 2 out of 3 are free, but give the right license to the people.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Sorry,
I think that make sure that you understand that if you have the agent license, that gives you free play into JSM specific features. And in this case, we're going to be talking queues, we're going to be talking SLAs. And so there may be a question where somebody cannot modify a queue, somebody cannot modify the SLA. And, I would say 9 times out of 10 is, do you have an agent license?
Mm-hmm.
We have a question from Susan. Would you walk through adding a new customer and a new licensed user from scratch, add to product, add to group, add to project roles, add to project, etc.? So,
Alex, do you have a one Atlassian instance with JSM?
Of course.
All right, then I'll hand it over to you because I do not currently.
Yeah, I think mine's expired. I need to re-up mine for the quarter.
Yeah.
I thought Atlassian told us that they were good enough for the whole year. But apparently not.
Well,
right.
it will turn off from premium into the free plan.
Would you walk me through adding a new customer and a new licensed user from scratch? Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to give you an advanced feature, something I normally do. So under products, we have user access setting of any domain for a security perspective, but opinions are my own here. But I would take your particular company, specifically your domain for your company. And what I would do here is I would go to your Jira Service Management and I would open this up for customer. And when you do that, that means that anybody with your employee, like anybody with at your company.com email, they automatically become a customer the moment they get provisioned and get created into your Active Directory if you have Guard, or just whenever you add the user. So I would do this, especially if you're through Guard and using SSO, because it's just going to make it guarantees that everybody's a customer. And so it guarantees that everybody from the moment they're created, they can interact with portals to a certain degree. So I would start off there, making sure that everybody is automatically just a customer there. But now the fine tuning is at the user level. So what's the question here? So we add a new customer and a new license from scratch. So adding customers, this is where I typically get confused. So I'm going to lean on you guys to help me out with this part. But there's a couple of different ways to do customers. There's internal customers, and then there's external customers. And so I'm going to show you the internal customer first. And I'm going to classify an internal customer as somebody with your company's domain again, right? So
Yeah, that's typically the Atlassian definition.
Yeah.
And that's something that you can do from within a project. And so it's certainly within the scope of the exam.
Right. So, but I come in through here. And so whenever you add a user, so again, if you're not using Guard or SSO and, you know, the user authentication, you just come in here and you add a user. So I'm going to add Bob at thejuralife.com. And then I'm going to deselect all of these and I'm going to come to JSM. And this is where you get to pick what kind of license is this person going to have. Are they going to be a customer, which is they should be able to submit raise requests? We'll give them that one. If they are going to have the stakeholder one, right? They're Jira licensed user, but we want them to have some interaction, help us out, be able to view the requests in JSM, I might want to give them a stakeholder. But if you're ready to commit to the rather very expensive JSM license, then that's when you want to give them a user agent license.
And it's something that just kind of struck me when Alex floated over the stakeholder. Take a look. It is non-billable, but it's available only on premium and enterprise plans.
That is a good call out. I hadn't even seen or realized that one. So that means you need to be on JSM Premium, which means you're definitely in the $50 plus area for each agent license.
Not agent, stakeholder.
No, I know, but you need to be on JSM Premium.
Right.
You need to be on JSM Premium to be able to have the stakeholder ability, which means you're saving that $50 by not giving a developer a $20 Jira license and a $50 JSM license. So now you just got to give them your roughly $20 Jira license.
So you're kind of dividing up the $50 by two people now, you know, one's an agent, one's a stakeholder, and now it's like, you know.
Yeah. So you add somebody here, and then that's going to give them a license. Now, I'm going to take this one a step further here. So I'm going to just invite the user. Obviously, you would fill out the rest of the stuff correctly. But let's talk about, not now. I hate that Atlassian moves this around, but if you go to your products and you then go to Jira Service Management, you can then click on your managed product. Now, keep in mind that there's two different UIs. There's a centralized UI, and then there's this new UI that we're on. If you're on the old UI, this process is very different. But if you're on the new one, you want to follow these steps. And so basically here, this is where you go and determine which groups provide licenses and whatnot. So right now that I made Bob's account a user, I added him to this group here. And so this is the default group. Sorry, this one here. And so this is the default group. So you can see for each of the different checkboxes we just saw on the previous screen, there's an associated complementary group that actually manages the access or not. And so if you needed to modify these for whatever reason, maybe you have a custom group that you're syncing in from Active Directory, you would want to come here at the group and then maybe even set the default, but you control which license is then given to that user when they're added to that specific group. Now that's, again, we're on the product side. So this took care of all the product roles, product licenses and whatnot. So Bob right now has a JSM license. Awesome. There's not much he can do though until we go into our JSM project. So now we leave admin.atlassian.com. We go over our projects and we got to go into a JSM project. And once we're inside of a JSM project, we go to our access and we're going to check two things. We're going to go to project permissions first. And here you normally want to make sure this is the out of the box stuff, but the browse projects is the most important one out of all your permissions. And you want to check these groups and roles over here. So as you can see here, we have the project role service desk team, right? And so for this one, this is going to play a critical role because now for Bob to get access here, I have to come to add people, type in Bob's name. Apparently he doesn't come up. Maybe he has to accept. Did you get an invite, Bob?
I got the invite. I accepted it.
Oh, maybe you know what? I didn't refresh. I switched tabs. Stand by. We type in Bob's name. Come on, Jared. Don't make me look bad in front of the wizard. What's Iron Man's or Tony Stark's line? He's in front of the wizard, right?
Kid, you're making me or is to the Hulk.
Yeah, to the Hulk. You're making me look bad in front of the wizard. Anyways, I'm going to do this again. There we go. So you add Bob, and then this is where you got to pick the service desk team, because the team role in this particular case is then going to complement the agent license.
Right.
And so when you do that, then Bob should be good.
This is the part that a typical project admin for a JSM project, this is what they would do, is take the people that are either licensed as a customer, stakeholder, if you're on premium, or agent, and add them to the appropriate JSM project for that role.
Yep. And that should get you there. And then for the customer, you do something very similar, except you pick customer and you give the customer license.
And to be clear, just because you have that agent license on the product level doesn't mean you necessarily need or should have the service desk team on all service desk projects.
So that's what's really interesting. So a big differentiator between Jira and JSM is that every Jira project, when you create them, they automatically inherit the default software permission scheme, right? And so whatever you have in there, that's what's going to come over. But every JSM project has its unique permission scheme, which is always going to be the same until you change one.
I mean, I was just noticing, or not noticing, noting that like for our internal service desk for Jira Life, we have 2 JSM projects, and there's one I am a customer in, and there's one I'm an agent in. And that is very much by design, but it is you're able to have that level of granularity where you need to.
Yep. All right, Ronnie, take us away. Well, that blurred up for me.
Do I need to zoom in for you?
No, it was blurry for a second there.
Yeah. So managed customer organizations know that channel access can be restricted to only people directly invited to the project or set to open. When open, customers can share requests with anyone via email if customer sharing is also configured accordingly.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You look like you had something.
So when you're setting up your JSM project, you're going to have what are called different channels, which are different ways for you to get issues or, work items into the JSM project. The big one that everyone's familiar with is the portal. You should be using the portal. It's again, it's not the greatest interface ever, but it is a very robust interface for getting issues in. But you could also do a channel being email, where you have specific email people send the request to. It gets checked, and those get generated into work items. I will not say issue one day.
Yeah. I'll also add that if you have your portal open, then it means that and that product setting that I showed earlier, right? When you come back over here, apparently I got to remove yours. When you come back to this one and we were doing that user access settings, if you do have any domain open where anybody can become a customer, then you could potentially have a user that shares them with their aunt and uncle. And then as long as they create an Atlassian ID, they can then submit requests too. So be very careful if you have any domain open, because you could potentially, open yourself up to the whole internet.
Yep.
Which you may want or you may not.
Yeah,
it depends on what your use case is.
You can also lock the whole thing down, and then you have to explicitly add your customers into the people section, and that's gonna really lock things down. So it really depends on your use case and level of sensitivity.
Right. This is a case where some of our closest marketplace partners, they have open portals.
Mm-hmm.
They have you create accounts later on, but you can actually get into it, create the account, and then create your support ticket with them. And I've been doing that on a regular basis more and more as I need to get some help.
I mean, our own Alex here just set one up not too long ago for the call for speakers for...
Yeah, we have one right now. And if you're interested, we're still looking for 1 or 2 more speakers. So just dropping it now. And if you're interested in attending the event, October 22nd through the 24th, we're going to be in Long Beach, California. So definitely check it out and come and secure your copy of the Big Book of Atlassian. The only place to get it is at the event. Thank you, Barney, for that very seamless transition and advertisement.
Just doing what I can, man.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a comment from our peanut gallery. I believe that's hashtag I believe
so.
Sarah.
It is.
All right. Be aware that users' access to a service project may be dependent on an organization the members of, unless they have.
Right.
I don't get that one.
So again, organization is we're not talking about cloud organization. This is a JSM construct where think grouping of customer accounts. As far as visibility goes, if you have it set up that way where you can look at as far as like looking at requests that are made, you can limit that to the ones created by you and your fellow coworkers.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, you broke it.
Uh-oh. That's not good. Uh-oh. I love it when I break Atlassian. Then I make a YouTube video and then Atlassian gets mad at me. We'll come back to looking at our organization.
So what's the moral of the story is don't make YouTube videos that make Atlassian mad at you.
Or Atlassian, make sure your Jira works.
I mean, I've been trying to get that to happen forever. And to be fair, I've done blog posts that have gotten Atlassian upset at me. So,
All right. Customers can always share the request with others in their organization, but customer sharing can also be configured to allow sharing emails manually entered with others. Yeah. So I think we kind of covered that, but essentially if you group people into a company, and this is mainly for external customers, then they can share amongst them anybody else that's in there, or you can also configure so they can literally share with anybody with an email address. And know that when a customer without a pre-existing account is added, a notification sent to that email. Yeah. So this is pretty important. I think I get a lot of questions on this one. Like, why does this last one happen? And that is because when a request is submitted, you're not just like yelling into an abyss. There's a whole portal. There's a whole interaction that you can do. And the best part is once you submit a request, you can go get the status of that request. And so somehow Atlassian needs to know who you are. And so you get a free Atlassian ID if you don't already have one, so that Jira can keep track of those requests that you submitted. Onward. What's up, Mom?
Hey there. I'm not in my usual spot, so you get to see all my chins.
We're trying.
Yeah,
We're
none of us are
33
pretty,
minutes into
so
a 50-minute section, so we're doing just fine.
Awesome.
all right. So managing team members. Remember that issue
01.03.
Yep. Remember that issue level security can be used to restrict the visibility of specific issues within a project. Now this special place mark because this is the most underrated, underused feature in all of Jira.
This is the big one. This is the one that I have pulled this card several times when there are things like, oh, we want to do this for HR, but we want to make sure that none of the peasants or the worker drones can see all of those issues.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you do that?
And that is issue level security.
Or work item level security now.
I see a word there that does not look like work item.
They don't talk to me. I didn't make this document. I will also add that a new feature, I don't know if it's going to show up here, but a newer feature within the last, 7 to 10 months, the requests can now be configured based on grouping. So if you want to hide certain requests types, right? Request types can be hidden.
Yep.
That was a DC feature, but we didn't have it until, again, maybe the beginning of the year.
That being said, the one feature I know it's been asked for at least 20 years now because I have seen the ticket that we still don't have that I would love to have is field level security, where you can hide specific fields based on who's looking at the issue.
Dude, don't even get people
Right.
started with that.
But we don't want to confuse everybody about what is possible now versus all the things we want.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't want us to go into like episode 25 of this series. So
I mean, that is Bob's job. Frankly,
All right,
keep
next
track.
paragraph,
Your
Ronnie. Next
takeaway
paragraph.
here, though, is that you can have issue level security just like you can in a Jira project.
Yep.
And it comes in more common. I have set more JSM related issue level securities than I do Jira regular ones.
I could see that.
Yeah, it's a rare day when I have to set a Jira project with issue security. All right. Beware that an agent, or beware that to be an agent, a user must have both the proper role within the project and the JSM license.
Covered that, check.
Yep.
Friends.
Collaborators, on the other hand, typically have just a Jira license, but are also included in the service desk team role, which could be assigned to users from the People tab.
okay,
This
so
is-
that's what I've been doing before stakeholder licenses were available. So allowing anybody with a Jira license to view the work items once they were created, and then comment, link, attach.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure how collaborators work versus stakeholders. So
I
this
think
might
what
be
they did is
something-
they rebranded collaborators to stakeholders, because when I
And then
first
gave them
started,
their own role.
I'm looking at Sarah's raising her hand.
Call on me.
All right. We're calling on you, Sarah.
So
Set us straight.
now, I may not have this entirely correct, but
you can't raise your hand and then spread
I'm,
fake news.
I'm
No,
always going to discount
Give
myself
her
a
some
little
space.
bit. So here's the thing. So stakeholders are a role, right, that don't require a JSM license, but mostly those are used to send out communications, especially around the area of incident management, so that you can mention your stakeholders or set up communications out to your stakeholders. Then your collaborators, right, are those people, as it says, who you give the you give the team member role, the service desk role to, but they don't have a product license, so they can't see your queues. And to your point, Bob, that's what they do is they're able to see the issue, they're able to comment on it, but they don't see the queues, the SLAs, and then all of that UI that you get with JSM. And so they don't cost you that JSM license, nor does the stakeholder cost you that license. So that's how you become this collaborator.
I
One
think that got updated though.
bit about this, sorry, there is now a feature called developer escalations. And so there is, when you add them into that team member role, but they don't have the JSM licenses, you can create now a special request type and a special queue that they can see just for developer escalations. I don't like that feature at all. I think it's kind of silly because we all did it the old way, right? At least I did. Give them the right permissions to let them see things and comment.
Or
Help or hurt your friends.
create the link to the original JSM ticket onto their project in Jira or something like that.
And I will take issue with one thing. What they're saying doing here for the collaborators is just what Alex was saying earlier that he does, and it's probably what most people do. But it bothers me from a sysadmin got to keep everything organized situation. So I usually edit my permission schemes to add another role called collaborator that has essentially the same permissions, but it's for those people who don't have the license, so I can keep them separate from the team.
Yes.
And it's silly, it's extra work, but it does keep things so much more organized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't think, to your point, like collaborator is not like this out of the box feature or out of the box role. They just refer to that term collaborators.
Yeah. So I just make it a feature.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beautiful thing about Jira is you can customize like that if that's how you want to do things. So continuing on, it's important to understand that permissions such as browse project permissions within the permission scheme are necessary, but not sufficient to view or perform different tasks on request. And this is just general how do permission schemes work. All the browse permission does is, can you see the issues within the project? If you want to transition something, if you want to, you got to go through all those permissions if you want to be able to do more. So if you want your collaborator to be able to comment on issues or edit their comments, you got to add those permissions, so on and so forth.
But they can't transition the issue unless they have that JSM license.
Yep.
It's always that product access.
I'm dropping a link that describes all of them, so you guys can read it here. There is a fundamental difference between the collaborator and the stakeholder, but they're very similar.
Yeah.
Should I bring it up or?
No, it's cool. I just dropped it in, but it's just go look at that one. But
Space.
it's close enough where I'm like at last one, why do both exist?
The same reason Trello and Jira exist in your mind?
I thought you were agreeing with me.
I was going to say, I think stakeholders can't actually see the issues in there, but collaborators can.
So stakeholders are people who are not responsible, who are not responders of an incident, but can be updated without an incident's progress to take precautions and actions.
Mhm.
Agents can keep the stakeholders updated by adding them to incidents. Stakeholders do not need an agent license in JSM's premium and enterprise plans. You can invite any number. Oh, the other thing, sorry, stakeholders are only a premium or enterprise feature. So collaborators is just, it looks like it's open to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyone with a Jira license can be a collaborator. That is Jira normal, not JSM.
Right.
But stakeholders, you don't need a Jira license per se, but you do need to have your JSM instance be on premium or enterprise.
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are learning this live too. So it's not just you guys.
Well, because it's not things that we do a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like
And the
most
whole
customers-
point for me and Alex is we're not JSM experts. We're software people.
Yeah. Most of the time, I either have agents or I have customers. It's rare when I have to blur.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's becoming increasingly popular. But it's good to know that this is there.
Well, hopefully this is where I can help.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we want you on this series, Sarah.
Okay, so
Wait, you're on the last section.
yeah. Know that collaborators have limited capabilities that include the ability to view tickets and add internal comments. I guarantee this is going to come up on the exam somewhere.
Right. So don't forget that what's hidden, you forgot the silent subject to permission scheme right at the end.
I figured it was assumed at this point.
You know, I'll be curious to check that out, though. Internal, the collaborators can never comment publicly.
Externally, correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Okay.
That
I
would
think
be
Sarah wants to do experiments now.
No, I just wanted to make sure that even though it says like things about other permissions, you cannot give them any permission that allows them to comment
No.
publicly.
Yeah.
Agents, on the other hand, can raise requests on behalf of customers and edit, transition, assign, and add external comments to tickets, as well as perform actions on select tickets from within a queue, among other things.
So that was actually one of the selling points. That first part, raise what an agent can do, raising a request on behalf of customers. There's a lot of times where there's a potential DSM client, and they still operate using a call-in help desk, right? And what you can do with the call-in help desk is you can have agents that have JSM licenses. They could be on the portal and they could go in there and type in the name of the customer, and that customer would then be the reporter on the JSM issue or JSM work item.
And spoilers, if you're a JSM agent demoing this to an executive, they will always ask who's able to do that because the screen that they're probably going to see as a customer is not going to show them that ability. So I always have to remind folks that you have to be an agent to be able to raise a request on behalf of.
Yep.
So they always see it on my screenshots, but they never see it on their screenshots because they're not an agent.
I know. I really wish, like it said on that field label, for agent use only, because you always have to explain that over and over.
Yeah,
So
everybody
going
out-
back to the interaction between the project permissions and the agent license, do you still need the modify reporter permission to be able to do this?
Work. No, agents can do it.
Agents can do it without
it's
the
not
modify reporter
Right.
permission.
Correct.
Through the portal, but I think if they want to change the reporter ex post facto, then you do need the modify reporter to change the reporter later.
Okay.
And for anybody out there, I do feel like that's a pretty edge case there, Rodney, in terms of the actual ACP.
It is, but the moment we don't cover it, it's going to come up.
Yeah. I think, though, to be safe, I always just make sure your agents have modify reporter.
I mean, I do too, but that's why I didn't know, because I'm like, I've
That's what
never
makes this
tried
test
to go
hard.
without.
Yeah, but that's what makes the test hard because we always have all the privilege, and it's always hard to know what we don't have the privilege to.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So we got some extra resources for these sample questions.
Yeah, let them read it. Keep going. I want to see you suffer through the questions.
Okay.
Because I'm
Gotta go
usually
full
the one in the hot
This is fair play, because I have been torturing Alex for like the last 2 study sessions.
last 4.
Well, let's do it this way. Let's go through the what is it? 3 questions.
3 questions.
Yeah.
Go through the 3 questions and then jump back to the resources just to give them a peek.
Yeah. So a new project was just created from a service desk or service project template, and no further configuration changes were made. So we are dealing with the vanilla as is, Rodney hasn't messed with it template. Which task in that project requires a user to have a Jira Service Management product access and the service desk team project role? So we're going to go through these one at a time.
This one's hard.
No, it's
View
not.
tickets
You just
on the
answered it.
portal.
I have my answer.
I mean,
I have 2 answers, so that's my problem.
I mean, if I wasn't reading
literally
it out
just
loud, I'd
answered
probably
it.
already have it too. But so view tickets on the portal, we know that's something that customers can do, so don't need it. Watch tickets, collaborator or stakeholder could, in theory, do that.
Can they?
Delete their own attachments, or raise a request on behalf of a customer. I'm going to say D.
It's definitely D, but the watch one.
The
That's
watch
just
one is
Jira.
something a collaborator can do, though.
Yeah, that's just Jira.
Yeah. It's not something specific to JSM.
Yeah, it's like Jira. When you have a Jira license, it's like you get the access to the whole database.
Right,
and
but you
then
said when you
JSM
have a
is
Jira
the
license. But
UI.
what happens if you don't have Jira?
Then you're a customer. But that's
Right.
not what it's asking here. It's asking what you have to have both the JSM product access and the service desk team project role.
But you're not a watcher as a customer. You're a request participant. If you
But
take
still,
Jira,
the question is, do I need to have JSM product access and the service desk team project role to watch the ticket? No, I don't.
why not?
Because a collaborator with the right permissions can
kick
still
it.
do that.
Imagine you don't have Jira though. Collaborate is only when you have Jira, no?
That's not the question, though.
Right, but pretend you only have JSM.
Alex, this is exactly the thing people try to say don't do.
You're overthinking it.
Yeah, I think you're a little. But although he did mention 2 words, and that 2 words are
understand.
request participant, which is essentially watching tickets.
Right, but for the customers only.
But it's not. It's being a participant, which uses different vocabulary.
But a
Right,
customer can never watch a ticket.
But it's not asking what a customer can or can't do.
Right. So this is saying that, but in order to watch a ticket, then the inverse logic, which is what this question is asking, you do need to have the team
The
role.
way I process this question is, okay, is there anything on this particular permission that I could get away with without having these two things set up?
Mhm.
And there is a way I could set it up where I could watch a ticket without having these two permissions set up. There's a way I could view tickets on a portal without these two permissions set up. I could even delete my own attachments
You don't watch
without
tickets
having these two permissions set up. The only one that I have to have those two permissions, otherwise I absolutely cannot do it, is raise a request on behalf of a customer.
Well explained.
Yes. Also, the delete your own attachments, that might be something that is that involves a further configuration of the permission scheme. So in this question, you're not making any further
changes.
configuration changes other than just, hitting create project from the template.
Or also, sort of very simply, what is a JSM thing that is not anything else? And it's raise a request.
All right.
Next question.
No. Let's go noodle on the wrong answers on the explanation of the wrong answers.
You want to see
No, there's explanations.
The watch one's going to be because of the collaborator. I just don't think it's fair for the collaborator one because that assumes you have Jira too.
The question though is asking what is the only thing that you absolutely have to have these permissions for?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that you may not have permissions for it. Is there a way to figure out where I don't need these permissions and can still do it? So view tickets on the portal is incorrect. Viewing tickets on portal does not require Jira Service Management Product Access or a specific project role like Service Desk Team. Customers can view tickets on the portal without these permissions. They just need access to the customer portal. Collaborators can view tickets on the portal. Watch tickets. This is the one. Let's get into this one. This one's incorrect. Watching tickets is available to anyone who has access to the issue and is not limited to those with the JSM product access. Collaborators can watch issues. It's not saying you have to have that permission or what happens when you don't have it. It's just saying it is possible.
Right. No, I get it. It's just, again, what if you didn't buy Jira?
Then you can't do that. But that's not what it's saying.
But it also wasn't asking that either.
But it's so one of the big takeaways for anybody watching this though is don't add to those questions. Don't add any additional context to those questions if you can, because that's the kind of thought processes I think you end up with. Anybody want to say hi to my mom?
This is what bends you around the proverbial tree.
Hi, Sarah's mom.
And this is how you run out of 180 minutes.
Right. Okay.
All right. So delete their own attachments. Deleting their own attachments usually requires a manage own attachments permission, which does not require JSM product access. This permission can be granted to collaborators. So it's not that, again, it's just that it could possibly be. All right. Next question. Don't know why it jumps me down. Thank you, Firefox. Customer Tavi is able to raise requests in Project Acme, but not share it with her coworkers. Only customers are able to share their requests with coworkers. Other customers are able to share their requests with their coworkers. Identify the root cause. So we got customer organizations, project permissions, global permissions, or project roles.
Can we do elimination?
Do elimination. Sure.
I would say global permissions. Maybe.
Global permissions. So the sharing part of global permissions are query filters and dashboards typically. Yeah. So
that's but the users. No, I guess yeah. That's why I'm like, I would eliminate global permissions then, because I don't think that there's a setting
in there. Global permissions.
Yeah.
Project role customers typically, they can have a project role, but typically don't.
Yeah,
It's
that would be a
not-
stretch. I would eliminate that one too.
Likewise, if project roles aren't it, project permissions are going to be it because they are closely related concepts.
So
Project
the
roles are
organization-
used to populate your project permissions.
So A is the only option then.
Yep. Okay.
Well done.
Project permissions share request is governed by the customer sharing setting and customer organizations. And Toppy must also already have the required permissions since she can raise a request. Global permissions does not control the ability to share requests, as we talked about. Project roles do not control the ability to share requests. Also, Tavi must already be in the Service Project Customer Portal Access role since she can raise a request. So
Yeah.
what's likely going on here is there's multiple organizations, and she's part of an organization that does not have the setting turned on.
The other thing, going back to Sarah's tip from earlier, we kind of did the inverse now. So eliminate the ones you know that are absolutely wrong, and then
Mhm.
hopefully you get it down to one or two.
That is a tried and true test taking strategy tip.
Since 1999.
So,
Okay.
well, it's even older for us Gen X people. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
1969? Too old?
too old.
79. A little bit better.
Let's go with the song
Only
of
a little bit.
1989.
1989. Since 1989. It's as old as I am.
I've been doing it on my SAT since high school. So a few years before 1989. All right. Anyway.
All right. Andrea has a Jira Service Management product access and is a project admin in a particular service project. What action can Andrea perform? Again, we're going to go through process elimination for this one. We've got 5 options here.
Wow. Is that something we should expect on the test?
Usually they were 4, but
Yeah. Jeez.
On the occasion, I'll see one with 5, but most
I
of them
think
have
I'll take the 5 over the choose 2, though.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Allow customers to create their own accounts.
That
Delete
is
a
a
custom-
product admin. Oh, sorry.
Delete a customer organization. Invite agents to her service project. Grant Jira Service Management project access to another user. Or create a new access group.
So the last 2, no way.
Yeah, these 2 require full Jira admins to be able to do.
No, they require full site admin too, or org admin. Or at least with the
Yeah,
last.
org admin for the site admin for no org admin also for
Yeah,
Or
admin.
both.
You need a lot of admins for the last 2, so not those 2.
So invite agents to our service project. I mean, if we're talking about adding them to the service desk team role, maybe.
I think that's a maybe.
I'm going to go with maybe on that one too.
I'm going to go with maybe not.
I'm going to read the rest, see where I am, and then make decisions on there. Delete a customer organization. This one is a project setting, so I believe it's something she can do.
Yeah, I would say maybe 2 on that one.
This one's a stronger maybe than C, I think. Allow customers to create their own accounts.
I think
This
that's
one.
I think you need to be a Jira admin for that one.
Yeah, this one you need to be Jira admin for.
Yeah.
So we've got from a 20% chance now, we've upped it to a 50% chance just by eliminating the ones we know are wrong.
So invite agents. So that tells me that it's a licensed Jira user.
Already.
But invite is a different word than add.
Yeah. So this one I'm not feeling the warm fuzzies about.
Now with the word invite's throwing me now to remove it because inviting means you're granting licenses, and that is dependent on how your org admin configured that default.
But isn't it? I don't even know if it's giving them the license, but I believe there is a higher admin level setting that says allow people to invite other people like to come into your instances.
But that's not the
but
same
not
as
as agents.
adding an agent, inviting an agent.
I'm gonna go with D for this
Said
one.
this C does
From
not give me
B.
the warm fuzzies. This B feels stronger to me, and Sarah already knows the answer. She's just biting her nails.
We
I'm
know
just.
Sarah's tell.
Oh no!
We're wrong. Dun dun dun.
Maybe it is B. Oh my gosh,
No, we
y'all!
went
is-
with B.
We talked ourselves out of it.
Okay, let's go through this. And
This
again,
is an Atlassian thing then.
I know. Let's go find the source.
allow customers to create their own accounts. It's incorrect. Only Jira admins can set portal access. We've
Mhm.
talked about this. Going to D&E, grant service management product access to another user is incorrect. Only org admins can grant Jira product access. Create new access group is also an org admin thing. So those three we got right.
We talked ourselves on the correct path there.
Delete a customer organization. Project admins can remove an organization from a service project, but only Jira admins can delete
Okay,
an organization.
That's-
Move versus delete is just
and then
mean.
invite
y'all.
versus add.
Mhm.
This is all one word that screws up the whole question.
This
See, 'cause-
is
You
this is
cannot, like you will not be able to invite them because even if you invite somebody and let's just say that you don't have any default licensing enabled, it's not going to grant them a license if that feature's turned off. That only your org
if I
admin can-
was
That's
one of
what was my
the
thinking.
and Bob can speak to this, but if I was one of the subject matter experts that help with the certification exams, I would have had serious objections to this question just on the wording, because this is some flat up ACP 100 from 2017 wording.
Yeah. You cannot
Mhm.
like if I mean you yes you can invite the user, but it's completely pointless if they can't get the license if that setting's not turned on.
So this all comes again. This one, if I was taking the exam, we were talking Monday about the slam dunks. This one would not have been a slam dunk for me. This one would have been
Flag it.
Yeah.
flag
Yeah,
it,
50
move on.
Yeah, 50 starts to look farther and farther away, huh?
No, I'm still sure I could get 50.
What was that? 50 out of 64?
75.
75?
The
2/3.
66%.
That's right. Okay,
yeah.
got it.
Well, we already know the answer, so
Mm.
I'll tell you what, we are in big doo-doo because it took us an hour and 2 minutes to get through one 50-minute section.
they're more like guidelines anyways.
Yeah.
And we're
And,
gonna be here for a
and
while.
I'm okay with kind of we finished section 1 of the blueprint.
hmm
Well done.
So
What was the
Yep.
weight on this area?
16%.
16. But yeah,
That's all I'm thinking is, the ones that have the heavier weights, spending that extra time on is not a bad thing.
nope. So Alex, how you feeling?
I hope Atlassian writes their test better than they write this thing here because that delete and remove
That
and invite and
Again.
add because the UI tells you to add. Can you
That's
even
what
invite?
they do. That's what these exams do, though. It's the wheat and the chaff, my friend. It is do you know the difference between delete and remove?
I do, but if look, the UI right here, first off, you can go to add people. You're not inviting people, you're adding
We can
people.
talk about that whole settings area sometime, by the way. It's so different.
And then you go in here to people and access. And you're adding people. You're not inviting anybody. Nowhere does it say invite. You're adding people.
Go back to
Then-
the project, not from here.
Where do you want me to how?
Although, honestly, I'm embarrassed by how rarely I use the new UI right now.
All right. This
Because
is a
in
new
the old UI, right, there was always a little thing that would say invite people.
Yeah, when you go to you can invite people when you are in a Jira project or a project of some sort, and you go to like the assignee, and if I put like at Lena at the JiraLife.com, here I can invite.
Yeah.
It's the only place to
And-
invite somebody, but this will only work if invite section for your product access is set up correctly.
Right?
I would like to note that Alex is slowly doxing all of us on the Jira Life.
Oh, sorry. I thought these were all fake. My bad. This is why I use Bob at kingbob.com.
I mean, I have a whole URL for spoofing things, so
Oh yeah, your super awesome URL. Okay.
yeah.
This is the only place where you invite. All the others were at, and anybody can invite, not a project admin specifically. So the question is bogus. Second, I'm going to go to
gonna
customer.
just throw this up.
Yeah.
But I think Susan's letting us know our hour is up.
Yeah.
Wait, hold up.
We're being played off.
One more thing here. I
music's
made an
playing, Alex.
organization. Wait, very quickly, because I made an organization, and I want to go over here. My organization does not exist in this project. I made it over here. And so in this one, I do have this organization. I don't think that organizations are global, but I mean, if I'm a project
can be.
admin,
Or an organization can be yeah.
well, if it was, then it would
This
be
is
here.
where it's kind of the Jira admin.
I see. Yes, I can add them here. Okay. I get that. So that is a global. So the organizations are global by nature, then because of the fact that you can reuse them in other projects.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, you can remove them, but you can't delete the organization. So how do you actually delete an organization?
You got to go into the products, and then under JSM, and then under organizations.
Look at the wording: delete versus remove on the other one. Oh, at last, you'd be tricky. How many times do we actually go here?
I know. Well, and especially if you're only a project admin and you never go there because you're not a Jira admin.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that
you don't notice the word remove because you see a darn trash can and think, I'm deleting that, at least at some level, right?
So
tricky at last, and
but we've all taken ACPs. We've all seen tricky questions. So
yes.
Again,
well, now we know. So this is why we study, because now we know that there is a distinction between deleting and removing an org.
And we also
and then,
know
even if you have the 420.
And we also know to flag a question if we're not sure and come back to it. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. We will be back next Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We hope you are really enjoying the new time slot we're trying here. It seems to be working better for all of us. Alex, is there anything you want to say about any events happening?
I would just say I dropped the link. Sign up for the summit. We're in person, Long Beach. Come pick up your big book of Atlassian. It's going to be awesome. And we have a lot of sponsors. We have a lot of great speakers lined up, and we're going to have a lot of fun in October.
Who did your fun graphic? That's so cute.
Lena. I wanted the pyramid because we went to Castle in Long Beach, and there's only 3 pyramids in the United States, and Long Beach is one of them. But
Lena is so damn awesome, y'all.
I love my wife.
So cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, and we'll catch everyone tomorrow on our Jira Life show.
I was going to say tomorrow, man. What are you smoking? I'm not coming back tomorrow.
You got to come back tomorrow.
Or through the magic of recordings, we could see you guys in 2 minutes when you start the next one.
Dude, when I was a little kid and I would watch novelas, it always tripped me up how actors went from one novela to the other. I was like, how did they teleport from one movie to the other? I was like 5, okay?
Bye, everybody.
That's why Tess scared him, y'all.
I think we just ended on that note. Bye.
Wait, we don't actually leave, right?
Nope.
Yes.